Hey guys, Attorney Walter Knott. So it is 2:22 a.m. and we are making a quick update video. Let's get into it real quick. Here's what you need to know. So I was scrolling around, I saw this article pop up, and I was like, "No way! This is kind of cool." It sucks that it has to happen this way, but it's pretty cool. Let's talk about it. The new Golden Girls, baby boomers, are moving in together to save money. Now, you guys all know the Golden Girls. It's like the I Love Lucy. It's past the I Love Lucy era. This is from the Washington Post. Basically, Soo Yoon created it February 25th, 2022. So 2 days ago. I mean, it's not even 2 days, it's a day ago. 10:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here we go. All right. So Jody Rafa has been searching for a roommate for over a year. Her husband passed away 5 years ago, and compounding her loss was a 75% reduction in her household income. This is happening to a significant amount of women. The 76-year-old lives in a sunny 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home overlooking a lake in a 55 and over community in Groveland, Florida. The sunsets from her back porch are stunning. However, the Homeowners Association fees just went up. You guys know how I feel about HOAs. You know how I feel about HOAs. Fees just went up again, and inflation has left her flabbergasted. Never a wrong time to use that word, flabbergasted. There's never a wrong time. All right, here we go. Howdy, Jane Doe, Rosa Soda, Sassy D. Howdy, howdy. Okay, so this is a statement from her. I live on a very strict budget and am not able to indulge in any extras at all, says Rafa, who worked in administrative jobs before she and her late husband retired in 2010. Rafa now views that move as a hasty decision. In light of her financial circumstances, I am a worrier and a planner, so logic suggested getting a roommate. When she takes out ads specifying women over 55, she gets responses mostly from men in their 60s or adults in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. Rafa hopes for an easier way to find and vet potential sharers of her home. I'm very frustrated, she said. She's pissed off. She's trying to find somebody who can basically, rent a room from her, give her a little extra cash, and there you go. But remember, a lot of women in her situation are also going to have a home that she shared with her husband. The husband passes away, and they're looking for a roommate, just like essentially she is. So, that's why she's run into this problem. Like so many boomers, Rafa wants to continue to live in her house and find a job working remotely, either in data entry or editing. Faced with escalating home prices and rents in tight housing markets, as well as careers or earnings curtailed by age or the pandemic, some boomers are looking to share their homes. Enter the boommates, they're calling it. That's cute. With the boomers aging, you see higher and higher numbers in shared housing, said Rodney Harrell, Vice President of Family, Home, and Community at AARP, pointing out that boomers are more open than previous generations to trying alternative solutions to the traditional aging trajectory. In a 1987 interview, thank you, good sir. Thank you, good sir. Why is Raven like a random desk? Indeed, thank you, good sir, for the $5 donation. Yeah, cool. Very good, very good. So let's see what they said. So the Golden Girls. Wait, hold on. In a 1987 interview with NPR, the late Betty White noted, classic, American treasure, that the 4 women who lived together in the Golden Girls did so for social reasons rather than financial necessity. That's a quote right there. So essentially what we have in America is failed politicians ruining our economy, which have created basically a situation where the elderly retired have essentially run into a financial wall where they can't afford their own homes that they've lived in their majority of their life. And now they're becoming the new Golden Girls for financial reasons, not so much for social reasons. Interesting. All that I think we have accomplished is to show that there is an alternative lifestyle. White told Fresh Air about the success of the show. If you notice, the Golden Girls are not together for economic reasons. They're together for sociological reasons. It combats the loneliness. Okay. 4 decades later, the idea of housemates late into adulthood is experiencing a revival, but with financial factors front and center. As boomers live longer and retire without the financial safety net of employer-sponsored pensions covering the rising costs of food, housing, and insurance become major considerations. My generation, this whole idea of a pension, 401k, stuff doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist. Your generation, my generation doesn't have it. You got to, mine doesn't have it. All right. Linda Hoffman, president and CEO of the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens, which runs a home sharing program, noted an increasing number of applications as finances become more of a stressor. When we started the home sharing program in 1981, relieving feelings of isolation and loneliness was the primary need. Hoffman said, now an affordable place to live is the number one need. Hosts need help in meeting their housing expenses. Even for housemates who entered into the arrangement for social reasons, the extra money has become more important as their financial picture changed with the pandemic. Everybody's poor right now, except the mega corporations, which ironically were allowed to stay open, and all the mom and pop businesses went out of business. Debbie Campbell, 70, retired copywriter, met Loretta Halter, a retired manager from the Kroger grocery chain. In 2018, at a Czech cultural event in New York City, Campbell was mourning the loss of her live-in boyfriend of almost 20 years to cancer. Halter had moved to New York City from Appling, Georgia, several years earlier. She had used the NYFSC home sharing program earlier to find an affordable apartment, but was unhappy in her situation, which is when she decided to become housemates with Campbell. The two went through the NYFSC program to handle the background checks, vetting, and administrative details before Halter moved into Campbell's rent-stabilized one-bedroom apartment in Greenwich Village. That's got to be expensive there. Before the pandemic, the two lived somewhat separate lives. Campbell lived mostly in the bedroom, and Halter lived mostly in the living room. But when the city shut down, they developed a strong friendship. First, we start with the crossword and the jigsaw puzzles on the TV, and it turned out well. Campbell said the ease of the later-in-life roommate as friends experience surprised her. I mean, I'm one of those people who spent a good time of my life in therapy, mostly complaining about people I knew. After initially being furloughed from her job as a long-term temp at the Department of Education in March 2020, Campbell retired in October 2020 at 68, more than a year earlier than she expected. She also opted to take Social Security benefits at the time instead of waiting until 70, as she had planned. I had not been desperate over money, but having a pandemic come, suddenly you have company where you wouldn't have. And suddenly there is extra money for you from home sharing, which I wouldn't have had. It was just a bonanza. I feel like the luckiest person of the pandemic, she said. While the dozen home sharers interviewed for this article insisted their parents would have found the idea outlandish, having housemates later in life seems to be finding more acceptance. In 2021, 70% of adults over 50 reported being open to sharing their home with a family member who was not a spouse. 51% said they would be willing to share with a friend, and 6% would share a home with a stranger, according to a survey from AARP. Of those who reported they would not share their home at all, 23% said they would change their mind if they needed extra income. The majority of people considering home sharing with a friend or family member tells me that there's an opportunity here for more people to take advantage of that excess housing stock that we already have within our own homes, and that perhaps meet your needs and those of a friend or neighbor. Harold said, or maybe companionship that may help with costs such as caregiving. That may help with, there's just so much advantage here. Yeah, until they figure out a way to tax that. And sorry, I'm a bitter person. Bitter, so bitter. And we're just not necessarily taking advantage of it. It's nowhere near its potential. And they're right. This is like new. This whole Golden Girls thing was huge back in the day. And people did that back in the day, but they haven't done, America became very like, this is my family, that's your family, that's your house, this is my house, blah, 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 all that stuff became very separated. The growing interest in home sharing, especially for those boomers who are house rich and cash poor, is in expensive housing markets, is being cultivated by nonprofit and commercial programs as well as municipalities. Since 2015, New York, Seattle, Denver, Tustin, Northern California, and the Metro Washington area all have established or are launching programs because those areas are so stupidly, ridiculously expensive. They are just so expensive. From what we've seen, attitudes are loosening towards home sharing. Riley Gibson, president of Denver-based home sharing service Silver Nest, which pairs older adults with housemates. The service is particularly active in tighter housing markets such as San Francisco, Phoenix, Tampa, Miami, and Los Angeles. So basically, if you live in a place that's ridiculously expensive, they're going to find a way to charge you a fee to find somebody who can live with you because you don't have money. Awesome. Super dupe. All right. Silver Nest recently partnered with Montgomery County, Maryland to start a pilot program and plans to launch in a few more cities later this year. That'll be a huge program. They'll become super billion gazillionaires. There you go. That's going to be hugely popular. Remember how I was telling you guys a year ago how a lot of seniors are going to be selling their homes and then changing to like an apartment thing? Right about that one again, and people yelled at me about that one just the same. All right, renters and homeowners can fill out profiles on the site. All right, this is all just, you know what it is. You fill out a profile, you fill out your stuff, they check you, they see if you're a good person, if you're going to murder somebody, or if you're going to take care of somebody else, if you're wonderful, if you're a criminal, if you're not a criminal, they check you out. First longtime neighbor moved in downstairs for, okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so, oh, here's a cool one. All the housemates are on disability, but collectively able to live independently. Boulding is able to host her adult children when they visit, but they don't feel obligated to move in with her to manage her illness. Instead, she is building a new community with her housemates, holding regular dinners together. That's cool. That's cool. Boulding has already had several housemates who have moved out because of a change in their fortunes. 2 have received government subsidized housing. 1 has gotten married, and another inherited the house and cars from an uncle who recently passed away. She thinks of her house as a harbinger of good luck and said she has received many calls asking for information or guidance on doing something similar. Okay, now that's interesting right there, because what that says is that this is all about mostly financial and not social, and that once they had their financial thing fixed, right, then they scuttled out of that situation. So what this is saying is that basically people are realistically getting crunched by horrific, crippling, galloping inflation and just horrible housing market. Like I see my millennial buddies, and they're just like, I can't afford a house. My rent is more than the mortgage would be. What the heck? What do I do? It's almost like the government and corporations have figured out a way to essentially keep people down. And unfortunately, that has been so bad that has reached up to the people who have had the pensions and the 401ks, and is even affecting them, homeowners, which is just mind boggling. It's just crazy, because think about that. Those are people that did life the right way. My generation, let's just be honest, my generation's filled with a lot of goofballs, a lot of drug addicts, hardcore, let's have fun, worry about it later people. Let's just be honest about it. Those people are being affected by it. But even the people who did it right, they got older and they had the resources, and then things got tight. Though the big picture here that you should get from that article is failed government. Government did not control housing market and the worth of the dollar. So now the elderly are paying the price, and they're going to have to go full on Golden Girls to basically do the monthly. Is anybody super proud of how America has handled the economy? It's a tough one. I don't know. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you a little bit later. Wow. Portland. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Crazy Jane Doe. Yeah, absolutely. Illinois. Howdy, howdy. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you a little bit later. It is 2:35 a.m. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to end up in the bed, one doggy on this side, one doggy on that side, and they're going to snuggle me in, and we're going to have a great time. Anyways, I'll catch you a little bit later. Have a wonderful night, and thank you so much, guys. All right. Bye-bye.